Well, plenty to choose from this week. Some pivotal top 8 games, some teams racking up cricket scores, others looking like they were barely capable of scoring, upset wins and plenty of other people just upset. Let's take a look at the pick of the round 20 action in Hot or Not.
Footyology's Hot or Not is proudly brought to you by Trade Institute of Victoria. Start your future today at tiv.vic.edu.au.
Oh, fancy new graphic, Finey.
We've got snow.
We have, and a sponsor, more importantly. All right, well, let's get cracking. I'm going to kick us off this week. It's a pretty obvious one. It's hot, it's scorching, in fact, and it's the Melbourne Football Club. That has to be their best win for 10 years against the Hawks. Gee, it was full of character. It was full of exciting, daring football and full of resilience. Several times in that game when, Rioli flattened Clayton Oliver, bad turnover just when they were getting on a roll. Hawthorn hits the front in the last quarter. Every time they responded, and not just responded, but they came home with a flourish, kicked the last 5 goals of the game. I love some of the young guys, not just the high draft picks like Petrarca and Hogan. I know he didn't play, but the likes of Jaden Hunt, I was going to say Wayne Harms, but James Harms, and Billy Stretch, all sort of second, third round draft picks, rookie in one case. And they're all combining to really give them something. There's a real zest about the way they play.
Look, are we now getting to a point where there needs to be a sort of a forensic study of why a group of top draft picks failed at Melbourne, and now you integrate second, third, fourth rounders, rookies? Is there something about the hunger of a footballer that's been overlooked or almost overlooked, and their drive as compared to maybe the expectation not being met by some of these top 5 picks? There must be something in it.
I think that's a very good argument, and there's plenty of examples that back you up. I also think it's got a lot to do just with the culture around a club, and it's a hard thing to break out of. The longer you're unsuccessful, the harder it is to have enough players who know what it means and know what's required to find that success.
Absolutely. They've had mentoring problems, but I just wonder whether too many top picks without the right mentors, whether these lads are a bit entitled and don't know what it's like to get down and dirty, because AFL football requires a lot more than just skill. It requires all of that mental toughness that maybe a rookie's gone through or an overlooked player.
Well, they're certainly addressing it now. You're up.
So I'm going to stick with the Melbourne theme. And through all the glory, Jack Viney's been fantastic, and you've mentioned these young players, Big Mac's gone. Are we forgetting Nathan Jones? Because he's having his best season. Look, Nathan Jones is averaging 28 possessions a game, up from 23.7 last year. He's already got 105 tackles this year as compared to 95 for the season last year. He's got as many clearances. I think he's within 2 of last year's total for 22 games. And all the while, the captain remains almost the least talked about of the good news stories at Melbourne. He's had a great season.
Yeah, no, I agree totally, but it's probably a good thing, isn't it? Because, there wasn't much else to talk about for a long time, and now there is. Okay, I'm going next, and it's a not, and it's Essendon, subject close to my heart. But is there any danger, Bombers, that you could kick accurately for goal? Now, we're seeing them get pantsed here by the Cats, but their inaccuracy this year has to be seen to be believed. In fact, it's so bad, Finey, that they have only kicked more goals than points in 4 of 19 games. 15 times they've kicked as many behinds or more behinds than goals. Total score 167-204, or converted 45%. Now, I know they're no good, but you don't have to be good to kick straight for goal, surely.
Well, are there players there that have inherent problems? Everybody's going to say Joe Danaher, but he hasn't kicked all of those behinds.
It's not Robinson Crusoe. No, it's just a lot of them just seem to turn to jelly.
And their field kicking's terrible as well.
It is.
So this improves markedly when you have a better team. So let's just hope that confidence comes with a full team to choose from next year, or more players.
I hope you're right. Your turn.
Not hot is Magjack Dor. Look, I am just about over the theory that Magjack Dor is a champion player but just can't get a game at North Melbourne because he's, not as good as Goldstein. Or, look, he's been there for quite a long time. I'm watching a bit of a Magjack Dor action now, and that's actually him kicking a goal, but he dropped a really easy mark on the weekend that resulted in a goal just before three-quarter time. There's a reason he doesn't play every week for North Melbourne, and that's because he cannot put 4 quarters together. So the idea that North Melbourne will be, somebody will swoop on Mags Door and he's just going to be a champion elsewhere is not correct. He's been in the system long enough. No more excuses for him. He does not play 4 quarters. He's not a great footballer at this stage.
No, I agree. Plenty of work to go. Still, he's an amazing athletic specimen. He just needs to find a bit of footy nous to go with it. All right, last one for me, and from that same game actually, but Marcus Bontempelli. Now, we know how good he is. I think he showed another dimension though on Saturday night, and that was the ability to be able to stand up to this sort of stuff. Now, he was clearly physically targeted by North. They picked him out, and Brad Scott was happy to admit it after the game. They tried to ruffle his feathers. Well, he refused to be ruffled. He settled down, gave plenty back as well, and not only did he not let it put him off, but he ended up being one of the Bulldogs' best handful of players on the evening. Didn't have a whole truckload of possessions, but in a pretty scrappy game, everything he did just oozed class. And so, to great skills and a great physique and great athleticism, I think he can add great temperament. And he is, if he's not a superstar already, he's very, very close to being one. Absolute star.
Who would you take if I offered you Luke Parker, Bontempelli, Dangerfield or Cripps? Realising that Cripps and Bontempelli have a couple more years on their more seasoned opponents in that question. But if you had to pick one for your team tomorrow, who would it be?
Oh, it'd still be Dangerfield, but only because I'm a man for the here and now, Finey. I prefer to live in the moment.
I'd take Bontempelli.
Yeah, well, it's close. It's close. Okay, last one.
I've got a hot, and that is unknown ruckman. Look, we had a few go around on the weekend, and nobody knows their names. And here's Archie Smith. He's the son of Andre Moore, a basketballer, and not many people knew Archie Smith, but Stephen Martin was rested, and then he was kept out of the team because Archie, in what has been a calamitous time for Brisbane, has done well. Tom Nichols has crafted a bit of a career at the Gold Coast. He might have a PCL, so I'm not sure how much of the season is left for Tommy Nichols, but he's a real goer and a trier. And then Sam Jacobs was out for Adelaide, and Riley O'Brien came in. We thought they didn't have any backup ruckman, but he did really well. So, you know what? Ruckman, we do value highly. Gordon's been magnificent, and we know Goldstein, Hickey's had a great year, but you can put some of these kids in and get a return.
There's a lot of Rileys in Adelaide, isn't there? And a lot of Rorys.
Rileys, Rorys.
And Kim as a man's name,
Well,
spelt with a Y.
Well, I was just in Adelaide.
Yeah. Do you emerge unscathed?
Yeah, there's also a lot of...
I love Adelaide, by the way.
There's also a lot of 1985 in Adelaide. Let's just say things don't change there in a hurry.
You didn't come back with a mullet, at least.
No, but I did survive the Strathmore Hotel.
Oh, you're in a hotel. There's a shock.
We specialise in building and construction. We're getting students that are coming from interstate. I mean, that's real acknowledgement for us. TIV, Trade Institute of Victoria, we're proud of our students.
Look, the move was a big move, and in the end, it was great to live up there for 8 or 9 years, whatever it was. A different life in those days in Sydney in that, well, not that it's that much different, we were very much, no one knew much about us.